So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have you roll a search check. Because you never actually asked where this thing was. He just basically pointed you in a rough direction. You're going to be flying south for roughly a month. And Arch, that also means that you have plenty of time to do all the things that you are planning on doing. So I'm not going to make you roll to try and get them done in an exorbitant amount of time. So what happened is Cham, you basically kind of flew around the fire sand deserts. You flew around the forest because flying over it is dangerous. So you flew over the ocean, around the forest, and back to the fire sand waste on your dragon. And you basically began searching areas in the south until you came across something very peculiar. It looks like an island, a relatively small island, but it's been modified somehow. Your heart tells you that this is where you should be.
All right, I fly to it.
Okay, this is where I let Arch take over.
Fantastic. So you're flying like right into the island? Like how are you approaching this?
I'm gonna fly around it.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a search check to search around. See if there's anything any threats or anything.
A 21? All right. So as you're flying around this island, it's very much like a desert island that looks like about as much as you could guess. It's got grass and it's got trees and it's got everything and a couple bits of wildlife here and there. It sort of widens out towards the back. And at the back, the forest is much denser. And you can clearly see that there's like an indentation in the forest.
Like a road leading to something.
Yeah, it looks like somebody has clearly carved a path straight inwards towards the forest. And casually, as you get a little bit closer, you also see the remains of an abandoned building. It used to be a public restroom, it looks like, that was absolutely demolished. And recently. There's no vines on it or anything like there is everywhere else. There is a public restroom that is just caved in and looks like it was maliciously done 10 times over.
I'm going to land on the island. I'm going to go into the indentation and to search around for any clues. Anything that might have happened in the area.
So you can absolutely make a spot check or a survival check, depending on how you want to run this, to see the local area.
I'll do a survival check.
Survival check tells you that this was clearly done with some form of magic. You don't have the same magic senses as a caster would.
Yeah.
So you can't quite tell what kind. You just know that the trees were clearly shifted over. They were in one spot and then they were moved. So unless somebody had industrial scale equipment, the shit was moved out of the way to make this path. What did it and how long ago? This could have been recent. It could have been years ago. It looks like it was intentional though. It very much was on purpose.
Okay, can I do a search check? See if there's anything, any items or whatever?
Absolutely. So with that search, Cham, you can see there's stones lining the pathway that a lot of them very clearly have etchings in them. It's difficult to tell what they are. You can tell everything along the path absolutely has etchings, and occasionally you'll see a brick or a stone or something that clearly has something marked on it.
Possible barrier or something.
At this point, you can follow the path. You can try and make your way over the stones and outside of the path if you'd prefer to be a lot sneakier, because that is your want.
Yeah, I'll go through the trees, through the forest, following the path, but I'm going to stay on the treetops.
Could you make a dex save for me as you cross that line of stones? Fantastic. As you jump over, you barely have the moment. You look down and you see that stone that you're just now passing. It sort of glimmers for a second, and you clearly recognize some shit that you've seen other casters do, which is, it is a ward, and it has a spell in it, and the spell is blind. And you manage to cover your eyes right as it fucking, does a solar flare.
You're a fucking asshole.
So that leaves you out in the woods and out and about in your element. Are you going to be casually following the path? Or are you just exploring?
I'm gonna be cautious especially after the booby trap. So, like I said, I'm gonna stay in the trees. Oh, I'm wide searching.
Okay, go ahead and make a search check for it. Okay, so as you kind of spread out along the edges of this forest and start hopping around, you do notice it is like rounded almost perfectly, and you do come to like the edge of the forest. And because of that search, reaching out and touching it, even the air, like before you even hop outwards towards the beach, you can feel how dense the air is, just like prickling on your skin. And you touch it, and it's very clearly like a firm, invisible dome of some kind. And down on the ground surrounding the forest are more stones that are warded with something else.
Can I decipher what the stones say?
So here's the thing. You could try... If you have spellcraft, I would say yes. If not, I would make a disadvantage intelligence roll.
What is up with all these threes? Fuck!
You have no fucking clue. This is chicken scratch.
I'm gonna throw a shuriken at one of them.
You whip that shuriken and it hits the rock. The rock sort of rolls an inch backwards, but nothing happens. The shuriken bounces off of it and lands just outside of the shield.
I'm gonna use non-detection on me. The target can't be targeted by any divination, magic, or perceived through magical sensors. I'm gonna use that on me. I'm gonna hop down. I'm gonna go back to the pathway.
Are you gonna cross the path again?
Sure, fuck it.
Okay, make another reflex save. Okay, you definitely have it in hand that those stones were booby-trapped, likely to keep you on the path and to discourage you to go exploring. Because you hop over and it pops and you're just like, what the fuck ever. You're back on the path.
Alright, I'm just gonna go through the path.
It leads you down like a long, winding forest area. It seems a lot longer than it should be before you realize it's sort of curved off around something and then come back in to lead you to a wide open depression, like where a meteorite would have just slammed into the earth. In this depression, there is, it looks like damn near like an arena. There are pillars of stone that look older than any civilization that you've seen. Not only does it have these pillars sort of placed at the edges, like almost like a clock, like 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 and 3.
Yeah.
And, you know, like at each one of the major points.
Sundial?
It looks a little bit like a giant sundial that's spread out. In the very dead center, there, inside of those pillars, there are trenches that lead down in wide squares, like how the old Colosseums would have those open trenchways beneath them. And then inside that is another trench, and then at the very, very center, there's a mound with a tree growing out of it. That the tree looks like it is made from golden material. And in front of that tree, there is a robed figure resting, kind of fucking Master Oogway, like cross-legged, one hand up in the peace symbol, the other one holding what looks like a staff. And just behind them, embedded in the tree, is clearly a little present about the size of a fist that has a red bow tied on top.
I'm gonna go up to the Master Oogway looking dude.
You're approaching, and it's like clearly set in as you pass through these pillars. You feel a sort of like intensity. Go ahead and make a spot check for me real quick. You got this and more. So this area is littered everywhere. There's little stones covered with those glyph wards everywhere. But you happen to be right next to one. Like you stop for a second and look down, and there's about a hand-sized glyph that's sitting right next to your foot that hasn't had anything happen with it. In fact, like a little like toe touch, and nothing occurs. As you're walking forward, you go over one trench and then the other, and you're starting to approach the Master Oogway figure, and they finally seem to like shuffle a little bit and look up at you.
Welcome. The wayward soul finally makes his way to me. Identify yourself, amphibian.
My name is Curtis, and I'm here in search of some treasure.
Unfortunate.
And who might you be?
You can call me Gil.
Alright, I don't care.
Can I shoot him now? She's gonna take out that gun and blow his froggy face off. It's up to you now.
Let's roll initiative, champ.
Oh, do you want me to use a reflex?
Actually, because she would have gotten the drop on you, because that staff wasn't a staff, it was a gun. Unfortunate for you, that means that you get the full brunt of her shot. Well, if it hits, we'll say that.
She barely just got it, yep.
Okay, I'm sorry, champ. That's a solid 41 damage coming at you, froggy boy.
Initiative?
All right, well, looks like Curtis is going to be going first.
So, immediately going to do greater invisibility, and I'm going to leap to one of the closer pillars.
So you jump up, and this figure disrobes, and it's clearly a female dragonborn that is head to toe this dark, like ochre, like bluish black color. And the rifle, she shakes it, and all the leaves and imprints and things that she had used to disguise it are clearly they just fall off, and this sort of cowboy repeater glistening in the sun comes out. And she does that thing where she flips the gun and it cocks it, and she holds it out.
How does it feel to have a third hole?
Oh, Curtis is immediately going to stay quiet.
I take it doesn't feel too good.
I know it happened to me.
And as she reloads that, you see she kind of raises up one hand, and that hand, like fucking Thanos, snaps and dissipates all the way down. And the last thing to disappear is her grin as she casts Windwalk, turns into vapor, and dissipates somewhere into the arena.
So I'm going to stay hidden, but I'm going to drink a health potion.
All right, sounds good to me.
I'm going to go west.
So you're going to west side?
I'm staying hidden?
This is for a check for her, since that was your turn. Nothing that you notice happens.
I'm gonna jump to the other pillar.
Go ahead and make a jump roll.
That's a 36.
Could you also make for me, if you're trying to land quietly, a move silent roll? Nice. I'm going to go ahead and make a roll for her. Right about this time, because she's clearly not hearing you, you see her stand up, and she is on the northern pillar.
Fourth hole!
She points her gun down towards the tree, and you feel like a pressure change in the air and like a pop, and invisibility purge goes off, leaving you just standing there on the southern pillar. And unfortunately, that is her turn, because she can't use both.
How far away from the south to the north pillar?
I would say it's about 100 meters from a pillar to the tree, and then 100 meters to that. So about 200 separation between them.
I'm gonna stay on top of the pillars, but I'm gonna jump from pillar to pillar to closing the distance.
Okay, go ahead and make your jump roll. It's a pretty nice jump roll. So she is gonna go ahead and make her attack roll on you. Well, goodness. She takes a pot shot at you, and it clearly like zips between your legs, but you can see the jump has made her clock you.
So I should be on the east side. I'm gonna jump to the northeast. Like, I'm trying not to be out in the open. I'm trying to use the pillars to cover.
That is a fantastic roll. So you are hopping in the air, though. On the pillar, you'll be able to have that cover, but while you're in the air, she's still going to take a pot shot at you.
Is there a way that I can use reflex in the middle of the air to try to deflect?
Oh,
using my dark saber. If I could try to do that.
That is 2 shots, though.
It is 2 shots, but because it made in a single attack motion, he will deflect both.
So I'm guessing that's your turn?
So that is... So then it drops down from the 2 main shots to the extra shots. So I count 3 actual hits out of that. 24, 25, and 23 to hit your 22.
So that's 4 projectiles. That means it's a -8 damage in total. So instead of having it be a 76, it is instead a 68.
Well, regardless, I'm dead. I have an 82 total.
Arch, you had a plan for this anyway, so you can go through with that.
So, you get clipped by that fucking last bullet, and it sends you sprawling. Your vision fades out for a minute before you see, like, the sun above you, and then Gildra is very clearly looming over you. And you feel a burst of, well, let's just call it what it is, healing, as Syra's little extra right hand, my little spider monster, crawls out from behind Gildra, rests on your chest, and pumps health back into you. And Gildra hands you the present that was connected to the tree. As you take that present, like, even if you're not gonna take it, she puts it on your chest. You feel a snap, and suddenly the heat of the desert, and looking around, you're back in the camp that we are all staying in the oasis. And Syra's just kind of sitting there sunning. The fucking hand leaps off of you and skitters up to her and reattaches. She looks over at you and Gildra. She says, "Oh, you're back."
I'm just gonna flip off Syra. I'm gonna cast a deeper slumber on me. Alright, Carnage is not gonna sit here and listen to anything.
Before it goes, whenever he does wake up, she does write like a little note to him and leaves it like tucked in his little shuriken pouch, just as the offer that we spoke about.
Alright, so he's unconscious because he's chosen to just say fuck it with life. Gildra's, I'm assuming, just going to pick him up and you guys are going to teleport to the others, or are you going to hang out in the Oasis for a little while and sunbathe?
Yeah, we're going to head on to the others.
Alright, because this took over a month to do. So everybody else is basically just waiting at the castle.